Assalamu alaikum, this is Sam Pope Jr. with Blacklisted TV, and this is Education HQ, where we discuss topics concerning the black community and the broader community in general. The topics for today will be the two states that are considering succeeding from the Union because of the re-election of President Barack Obama. I'll briefly touch on the looming fiscal cliff that we may be about to fall off if Congress and Washington can't get together on a new budget. And also we'll probably touch on Susan Rice's confirmation as Secretary of State and John Kerry as Secretary of Defense. Firstly, my home state, the great state of Mississippi, is actually milling around or considering succeeding from the Union due to their inability to be able to accept or submit to an African-American president. 4 more years of President Barack Obama just seems to be too much for some people to be able to deal with. The night he was elected, the campus of Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi broke out into riots. Several fires were set. The Black Student Union was ambushed or attacked, and many of the black students had to be protected by campus police because students on the campus, and I'm sure a lot of them were not students. They were just hangers-on or community locals that came up to the campus to express their anger. This is amazing when you think that this is a place of higher learning, a place where you have educated people that know the history of the Civil War and how it broke out and what the ramifications were. These people would actually rather become traitors, treasonous, if you will, to leave a country that has a black man as president. They actually want to succeed from the Union, but I don't think that they understand the ramifications of doing it. Mississippi is already one of the, if not the poorest state in the Union. If they actually seceded from the Union, I would give Mississippi 5 years before they would be begging and crawling to come back. What would you do if a natural disaster hit, like Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Katrina, that just leveled everything? What would you do without federal support to build the town back? What will you do when everybody reaches retirement age? Who's going to pay Social Security? You know, you're not paying into it, so what would happen to all your elderly? What would happen if one of the drug cartels from South America or Mexico attacked Mississippi? Who would protect them? You know, the National Guard would no longer be under the governor's control. These are things that racism can blind you to, where you think so in such a one-track fashion that you don't look at the greater good. And all because they just can't stand to have a black man as commander-in-chief for another 4 years. The 4 years is, you know, it's like a eye blink, you know, a camouflage. It'll be, you know, it'll be over. They would rather leave forever than to deal with that for 4 years. I just think that that's amazing. Texas also is thinking like that, and I really just kind of wanted to briefly mention that for all of my friends that think that racism is a thing of the past and it doesn't exist anymore. Well, you know, it's sort of a wolf in sheep's clothing nowadays, but it's still there. And guard yourself well and accordingly, because these people are angry, they're mad, they're upset. And I remind you that Fox News had to actually bring a psychiatrist out to help people deal with that disappointment. And a lot of people thought that, why would they do that? That's a stretch. Why would they do that? You know, but Fox News is very well acquainted with their viewership, and they understand that what that disappointment will cause them to do and drive some of them to do. and actually what they're capable of. You know, you had Michelle Bachmann making a comment about her paraphrase of Malcolm's "the ballot or the bullet." She said, you know, either we get the ballot or we'll give them the bullets. You know, we know what that means. It goes over the head of some people, but you know, it is what it is. As far as the fiscal cliff that we're approaching, the mandate from the American people has been firmly established, and it has told Washington that they want the two sides to come together and fix this budget crisis. There's two ways I can see it happening. Number one, I'm 100% behind our president. He wants to get rid of the Bush tax cuts. The top 1% is actually taxed at a less rate than a school cafeteria worker or your local fireman that risks his life every day, could actually die on the job. He actually pays a higher tax than the governor does. Or you know, Alan Greenspan famously said that Warren Buffett said that this is a billionaire. He makes more in probably 2 hours than I will in a lifetime. He said that his secretary pays more in taxes than he does, percentage-wise. And I think this is a shame. And Obama has said that he wants to eliminate the Bush tax cuts for the rich and impose a higher rate on those making more than $250,000 a year. I'm in agreement with that, but the Republicans are totally opposed to it. And I think some of the concessions that may be made on both sides to do this, sometimes if you give a little, you can get a little. I think that Obama should actually raise that to $1 million a year. I know a lot of people that make around $250,000 a year, $300,000 a year. That's a lot of money. It sounds like on the outside, but in today's economy, you know, it ain't all peaches and roses for them either. I think that if you raise that to $1 million, you give yourself enough leeway so that middle class people can feel that they're being protected also. And it will give, I guess, the Republicans, even though it'll be a false sense, but sort of an out of saving face and be able to go back to their constituents, you know, and beat their chest a little bit and say, we made, you know, the president give a little on this or that. But President Obama, I know one of his favorite books is A Team of Rivals. And one of his political idols was President Lincoln. And Lincoln always found a way to work with those that were opposed to him in view. He always was able to give a rival a job or an appointment, almost an offer that he couldn't refuse. Because if he had him next to him and working for him, he didn't have to worry about what he was doing to him behind the scenes, so to speak. Also, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has said that she is going to step down, and President Obama has said that he's going to nominate Susan Rice. For those of you who are not familiar with her, she's an African-American woman. She has been pretty much a lifelong friend of the president, at least since college that I know of. And she's very well qualified for the job. I think the issue that she's going to have a hard time with, or at least going through the confirmation hearing, is that Republicans are using some comments that she made on the Sunday morning political TV circuit about Benghazi that was a little off. But her information was based on CIA reports. So she was just going by what the CIA directors had told her. And you got the Newt Gingrich types, the John McCain types that are giving her hell about it. But I just remind you that the former token African-American darling of the conservative wing was General Colin Powell, and he had the most outrageously skewed intelligence of them all about weapons of mass destruction, and they never bring that up when they talk about Colin Powell. John McCain made a comment last week that she was the most unqualified and untrustworthy person that could fill the Secretary of State's shoes. And it's so funny to me because here's a man who chose a woman just a heartbeat away from the presidency that could not even handle basic interview questions. She was asked what newspapers she reads. She said, "Oh, I read them all." And the interviewer asked her, "Well, just name one." Then she couldn't name one. This woman said she could see Russia from her backyard. If you could pick a person that unqualified to be your vice president, then what say so do you have in a brilliant woman, academically, professionally, totally qualified? What opposition could you have for her being Secretary of State when you could pick someone like Sarah Palin to be your vice presidential running mate, other than the fact that she is African American? Just to note that John Kerry is being mentioned for the Secretary of Defense position. I think that would be a good choice. I don't know exactly who else is on that short list, but I think that he would have a pretty hard time getting confirmed as well. A lot of bad blood in that John Kerry Bush election series. A lot of people on the conservative extremist side blame him for Obama actually being the president, because don't forget he was an unknown before John Kerry actually invited him to introduce him at the 2004 Democratic convention. But these are just some topics and things to look out for in the near future. It's going to be a very interesting 4 years politically, and even though that the election is over and Obama is in office, we should still stay vigilant and politically active, continue to register people to vote, because we do not want to see a repeat of what happened in 2010 when the happiness and the honeymoon of our president winning has worn off. You have to remember that in the House, they're up for election every 2 years, and the excitement has to stay at the same level so that we can get out and vote, so the Republicans don't take over our majorities like they did last time. And that's all for this episode. I will see you later, and remember to check out blacklistedtv.com. This has been Sam Polk Jr., Education HQ, and I will check you next time.